exhaust, among other things, but they got that 43 bike out here on the line for this heat. He missed a lot of practice time. Cullen doesn't seem too worried about it. However, that Phoenix Racing Honda team really having to rally to get the rookie out here.
You're absolutely right, Kristen. Cullen went down hard in practice in the rhythm section, tripling in, bike cut out, front end dropped, endoed over the bars, and I didn't know if he was going to get up from it, but he did, walked off a little frustrated. The team figured out what the problem was, replaced the part, got the bike back together. You're right, though, he only had about 4 laps of practice for the whole day, so we'll see how this heat race goes. This might be his practice session, or he might just come out swinging. And we see the 43 of Cullen Park there to his inside, Isaac Teasdale. He is on the 79, along with right there on the inside, the 92 of Chase Marquier. But we can't count out Kyle Peters on the number 1, just to the outside of Cullen Park. So most of our top riders choosing the far inside gates. We'll see how this goes. 250 Pro Heat is off the gate. Kyle Peters with an excellent jump, driving to the middle, Cullen Park to the inside, and the Phoenix Racing Honda boys go 1 and 2. But look out, the number 5 of Gray Tate. Tate had a rough go of it yesterday. Oh, and getting a little sideways in the whoops. Major carnage. Riders going down. Kyle Peters out front. Cullen Park, Isaac Teasdale, Gray Tate. That looks like the 52 of Adam Conway picking himself up. The first lap of one of these heat races, there can be carnage, and Kyle Peters doing what he needed to do to get out front and avoid any down riders or any chaos. Kyle Peters looking very comfortable and strong on that number 1 Phoenix Racing Honda. You'll see Park and Peters both wearing that new Moose Racing designed gear. That stuff looks great. Cullen Park navigating through the whoops. He didn't get much practice today, so he's learning this track. And Kristen Beat has more about our racing surface.
Yeah, as you mentioned, learning this track, it's relatively different than what the riders raced on yesterday. It's a lot drier, and with that dryness comes this kind of slick consistency. So the riders are having to find traction where they can, and that means they're having to take different lines to find that traction, and then, of course, equate momentum from that. Kevin, as a rider, where are you able to find traction? And from your vantage point, can you see what riders are finding traction?
That's a very good point. Throttle control today. The track is dried out and the moisture's gone, so not as much bite for the rear tire. You'll see as these riders try to get a little more aggressive, they're going to start losing the rear end and making mistakes. So you want to be early on your throttle to drive through the center of the corner, but a lot of throttle control. You can't just dump the clutch and grab a handful, or you're going to get sideways and make mistakes. So a very, very good point. These guys are going to have to adapt. And right now, it's almost 90 degrees out. The sun is shining, and the track is going to take a beating, both from the sun and from all the laps that we're going to do. So that's going to play a big role in it here today. Kyle Peters out front, Cullen Park in second. Isaac Teasdale on the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki is settled into 3rd place, but it's all the defending champ and undefeated 2021 main event winner, Kyle Peters, showing them the way around. If I'm the other riders, I might be a little worried right now because Peters is riding very calm and collected. Here we have Chase Marquier, the Supercross regular, out here riding in the Arenacross series with us. He has been very fast all day, but speed is only part of what wins races in Arenacross. This is an intense racing series, and it takes a little bit of an adjustment. You know, you could put Marquier on the Supercross track and he might handle most of these guys, but Arenacross a little different. You got to get going the minute the gate drops. Ooh, a little mistake from Peters, front end slamming in there hard, but quick recovery, no big deal. White flag is out, last lap. And Kyle Peters is going to win the 250 Pro Heat Race number 1. So a great ride for Peters to take the win. An excellent rebound for Cullen Park after his crash in practice for 2nd. Isaac Teasdale in 3rd, Chase Marquier in 4th. As the rest of the field comes around, Corey Karsten, a great ride for the New Jersey rider to finish 5th, and Tony Usko rounding out the top 6. So the top 6 will advance directly to the main event. Gray Tate, Aiden Nyland, Trey Fierro, those 3 will be going to the last chance qualifier, which will be coming up later in our show. You don't want to miss the LCQ action. LCQs are only a 4-lap sprint, and the top 2 advance to the main. The rest of them will be done for the night. So obviously everybody lining up in this 250 Pro heat race number 2, they want to finish top 6 to get directly to the main, but the better your finish, the better your gate pick. And as we've seen, this far inside, middle inside seems to be preferable. So if you don't have a good heat race and you have a bad gate pick for the main event, that's going to come into play. I think it's next to impossible to get the whole shot on one of those far outside gates. We'll see where this one comes from. We have the 95, that's Josh Osby, another Supercross regular coming out to do battle at Arenacross. Next to him, the 2, Kyle Bitterman. Then we have Mike Alessi on the 800. Alessi is known for his starts, so we'll see if that 800 can get across the gate and get to the first turn first. Here we go. 250 Pro Heat Race 2 is off. A great jump for the 158 on the far outside, but Josh Osby dives under to take the lead. Alessi in tow. Osby had a rough go of it yesterday. Some aggressive riding put him on the ground. He was the receiver yesterday. Today, we'll see if he can get starts and get away from everyone else. So Osby out front, Alessi in second, and then the privateer, the number 2 of Kyle Bitterman, is our 3rd place rider. We've got Alessi up the inside making a run. He checks up. Not quite close enough to dive in there yet, but Alessi looking very comfortable all day today. He is putting the pressure on. He's shown Josh Osby a wheel now. We'll see if Osby adjusts his line or comes up with a new game plan, but right now, Alessi is sitting in the preferred seat, in my opinion. He's carrying a little more speed into this whoop section. That time, though, Osby able to match him through the whoops. Then we have the number 2 of Bitterman in 3rd. He's lurking. Bitterman has shown some very, very quick speed here today. We'll see who can be mistake-free and how this one finishes up. Osby getting a little more comfortable, actually able to open a little lead on that lap. So we've got the Phoenix Racing Honda of Josh Osby, then the 800. He's the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki rider. And we have the number 2 of Kyle Bitterman riding the Gas, sponsored by Lasting Impressions and Ashley Mobile Electric. You can see flat tracking around that sweeper, the rear tire pushing a little bit. Bitterman's going to need to get his weight on the outside of that bike just a little more so that the rear tire can stay planted and not drift so far on the exit. Solid ride for all 3 of our top riders. But I tell you what, Alessi and Bitterman are not going to be happy following Osby around. Josh Osby out front. And Kristen Beat has more on our leader.
Yeah, note on Josh Osby. I talked to him today. I asked him, what can we expect today on day 2? He said, day 1, I was suffering from dehydration. I wasn't as hydrated. I wasn't as prepared for this heat. Today, however, he's feeling 100% ready to get out here, and he's sure looking like it. Also, a note as they make this turn going around the Pro Double, there is a large rock approaching this Pro Double. So you see the riders kind of avoid it or sort of straddle the rock. That's something that they're having to deal with as well today with the drier track. These rocks kind of coming up and surfacing.
There is some rock in the soil, so that will play a role. We just watched Osby make a mistake in the corner before the whoops, and Alessi has gotten a drive. White flag is out. Final lap, final chance for Alessi to make a move. He went outside to in, squared him up right there. We'll see, can Alessi get to the turn? No, he has to check up, go outside. Alessi's carrying more momentum, jumping into the whoops, but just had his front end too high, unable to drive through it. It looks like Josh Osby should be able to hold on to this one. Final turn, and Osby will win the 250 Pro Heat Race number 2. Alessi second, Bitterman third. Solid rides for all 3 of those riders, and really if you look at the lap times, they were very, very close. That just shows us how important the start is going to be here today. We've got Christopher Prebula, Trey Fierro, and Luke Dickey rounding out the top 6. So those top 6, again, go directly to the main. Mason Wharton and Richie Colkin, they will go to the last chance qualifier. So 250 Pro Heat Races are in the books. Now we're going down to our mini open race. These are the local amateurs here. We have some amateur classes going on. This is our mini open. We have the 45 of Talski. 222 is Sonnen, and the gate is down. Talski with a huge jump from the far inside, and he will get the hole shot. Sonnen on the gas in second. Talski, KTM number 45 out front. Then we also have the 722 of DeLuca. DeLuca, one of our younger riders in this mini open. But it's all Talski out front. Talski pitted out of the same truck as Kyle Bitterman. I'm sure Kyle's been giving him pointers throughout the weekend. And every time he's gotten on the track, he's gotten a little more comfortable, a little bit faster. And that's what happens when you come out here to the Kicker AMA Arenacross races. This is a special opportunity for these amateur riders to get some seat time on a legitimate Arenacross track. And it can be a little intimidating to start. But as you put seat time in lap after lap, they get more comfortable, more used to the big jumps, and start to really flow and find their own speed. Here we have Sonnen. That's Quinn Sonnen on the 225. Quinn has definitely picked up the pace today. See him get into this big whoop section on an 85cc motorcycle. Those seem huge. They're cruising through, double out. We'll come into the rhythm section, getting the double in. Oh, slams into the face of the tabletop. We'll see if Quinn can start jumping all the way up there. That'll make a big difference if that's possible. But a solid ride for the gas rider. Back to our leader, the 45 of Talski. Here's the 722. That's DeLuca, our younger rider. Oh, and Sonnen with a mistake. Looks like stalled it in that sweeper. DeLuca here on the 722 is the only one on the 65cc machine. Riding that Husqvarna. As we watch him navigate this Arenacross track here in Tampa, Florida. 65cc rider, DeLuca. Getting the double at the finish line. Big air for a 65cc rider. Back to our race leader in our mini open heat race. Talski getting through the rhythm quite clean. Green flag out. We've got 2 laps to go. Talski probably surprised to see his main competitor up ahead after stalling the bike. Quinn Sonnen lost a lot of time getting it restarted. See them come into the whoops here. Trying to carry the front wheel from top to top, but just a little too big for that 85cc machine. He'll get the double in, checks up, jumps the table, getting through the rhythm section. Wise choice going inside. White flag's out. And with no pressure from behind, Talski can just have a little victory lap here. Talski on the KTM 85 representing 7MX. Quinn Sonnen. We'll see if Quinn can stay in front. If so, Quinn will get another lap. If Talski makes the pass, that'll be the end of this race for both of them. So they come around, so white flag still out for Quinn. Checkered flag for Talski. Solid performance. We'll see the two of them come back after it. They'll do battle one more time in their main event later tonight. DeLuca now finishing up the final lap. Doubling in on the 65. Getting through the rhythm clean. Solid ride for DeLuca. So the 65 and 85 mini open riders, their heat race is in the books. So 250 Pro Heat 1 and 2 is in the books. Our first amateur qualifier is over as well. We have more great racing action after this.
It's been a long road since the original kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machine became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is kicker.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day.
Ring Power has the equipment you need when you need it, daily, weekly, or monthly. To rent, visit catrentalstore.com.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
The open road. To those who understand what it offers, it's a call that has to be answered. What lies ahead? Who knows? It's in our nature to explore the possibilities and embrace the unknown. We round the corners of the journey, ready to take in the full beauty of what we see. We travel the same road, knowing the unexpected may occur. When you need us, we'll be there with the strength and experience that makes us who we are. The Law Tigers. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Welcome back to the Kicker AMA Arenacross on Flow Racing. We've got exciting race action coming up, as well as our freestyle shows coming up momentarily. But I have heard that Kristen Beat has caught up with the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Lambert, better known as Dirt Bike Mike, wearing multiple hats for years here at the Arenacross Championship, running his team, Dirt Bike Mike, Moto Nation of Memphis, along with our AMA referee for the series. Mike has been around a long time, truly great guy.
Really
sometimes confused with Santa Claus maybe, but one of my favorites for sure, and Kristen has caught up with him.
21 years to be exact. That's how long Dirt Bike Mike has been doing this. And I got to ask you, what keeps you coming back?
I think helping the riders. Years ago when I rode pro, I didn't have any sponsors, and I know how difficult it is to get sponsors and get out to the races. So I give these riders that nobody else has anything to do with, they don't think they can perform, I give them an opportunity. And sometimes that's all they need is an opportunity to go out to the races, and that's when they usually shine.
I love that story. I love a feel-good story. I love something that touches the heart. And you help so many riders, and you give them a sense of stability in this series. You provide them an opportunity to come out here and race. You help them out with bikes. Let's talk specifically about Aiden Allen. This is his second year in this series. As you said a moment ago when we were talking, it's been a topsy-turvy year. But what is it like to see these riders kind of progress and learn this series? Do you take a sense of pride in that?
Oh, yeah. I get a lot of satisfaction when I offer a rider the opportunity to come out and ride this series. And this is the only one that I do, Arenacross, in the wintertime. And when a rider comes to Arenacross and he doesn't have a clue what's going on, they usually flounder around for a few races, and then they start to figure it out. And they set goals for themselves. I don't set goals for them. They set goals for themselves. And more often than not, they achieve those goals. And they're not lofty goals. Most of the time, it's just trying to qualify for a main event. And then they start inching up from there, and they go, well, I'd like to get in the top 10. And that happens quite a bit. And it all comes from that opportunity.
Who are some of the riders that you take the most pride in maybe having worked with in the past?
Well, the first rider that I ever had that won a main event was Robbie Smith, and that was back in 2006. That's back when we had Speed TV, and I challenged my riders because I thought they weren't performing as well as I thought they should. I told them if one of them made a main event, I let them cut my mustache off. It didn't take but a week for that to happen. Robbie won a main event in Albany, New York, and I got my mustache cut off with a pair of rusty scissors, so that wasn't very pleasant. And I haven't offered that up since.
So that is not on the table this year for your guys?
No, not at all. I'm not interested in losing my mustache again.
How long did you have that mustache for?
Since I was 19.
So it was hard to let it go.
I've been wearing a mustache since 1967.
Something you and I were talking about even a moment ago yesterday, because you're also an official out here. Not only do you help these riders, not only do you have a team, but you're also an AMA official. Yesterday, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but the racing was definitely elevated. It was exciting. What did you make of it?
Most of the riders that come out here and ride Arenacross, the top riders especially, they have a lot of respect for each other. And you're not going to see a lot of T-boning or taking each other out for whatever reason. Sometimes the riders get together, and that's going to happen in this type of environment. It's really close racing, and the top riders especially respect each other because they want to race next week. And whatever happens this week, it may come back to you next week. So you better be careful about what you do.
Absolutely. Looking out at the track right now, I noticed there's a moment during that heat that you actually had to kick a rock off there. Do you expect more of the rocks to kind of surface throughout the day? What are you seeing out there?
I don't think we have too many rocks. I've looked at some of the dirt around here, and it's sparingly with the rocks. The dirt here is really, really good. I'd like to see this kind of dirt at all the events, but you're going to see different kinds of dirt at different venues. But I haven't heard any complaints from any riders about the dirt. And the track preparation has been excellent.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and it's so cool to be standing here with Dirt Bike Mike. Not only does he help out riders in this series, but he's also our AMA official. I love being able to work with this man every week. And, Kevin, I know you compared him to Santa Claus. I'd like to think George Clooney.
I'm just teasing. Normally he has the mustache and no other facial hair, so he's letting it grow this winter just for fun. But I tell you what, Dirt Bike Mike has more knowledge in his pinky than most people at the track. So Mike has helped out a lot of riders. Excellent advice. Even myself as a pro, if he mentioned something to me, I listened because he's been around a long time and knows what he's talking about. And it's always fun to catch up with him when we get to the races. First round of the year, I always seek him out to chat and see how things are going. And his wife, Pam was at the races for many years, helping run the Arenacross series. And the two of them are just, I don't think it would have existed without the two of them, honestly. And so it's great to have Mike here. And Pam, if you're watching, we miss you. We love you. And thanks for lending us your husband for the series. So we're going to get going here with the freestyle show. These riders warming up. They're going to get comfortable on the ramp, do a couple just dead sailors, as we call them, if this was a competition. But the reality is they're just warming up. Earlier today, they got the ramp out here, but they showed up a little late, so they have not practiced. So we're going to see just some warm-up jumps here for a little bit, but these guys are professionals, definitely know what they're doing. That's Josh Hedford there. We've got TJ Tiffany on the Kawasaki. This is TJ's setup. If you follow TJ on Instagram, you're going to see some crazy stuff, which would be this landing and this takeoff set up on either side of his house as he jumps his house for practice often. There's video of him doing backflips over his house. Pretty incredible. And then we got LaRue, the other rider with us here. Another established, seasoned veteran of freestyle. So all three of these guys know what they're doing for sure. Big Heart Attack Indy. Nice extension. Only a couple warm-up jumps, and they're getting right to it. So Hedford now. Oh, big running man no-hander. Nice combo trick. Hedford, the only one choosing to ride the two-stroke still. Possibly because he can do maintenance and rebuild it for a fraction of the cost of the four-stroke. But I tell you what, I always rode the 450 when doing freestyle. Big double grab, Indian Air heart attack. Riding the 450, they just have a little more torque. You can go at the ramp a little slower and really use the throttle. Nice dead body for Hedford. But the four-stroke, more torque, so you can approach a little slower, grab a handful. And as you watch, you can see, nice Super Can Indy. You can see the four-stroke guys are a little higher in the air sometimes because they aren't going as fast. The faster you hit the jump, whether you're doing freestyle, big turn down whip, whether you're doing freestyle or you're racing, the faster you hit the jump, the more your suspension's going to absorb that momentum and drive through the jump. So for freestyle, these guys want to go slow as they can and really throttle off the takeoff to maximize height, because the more airtime you have, the more time you have to do the trick. So it's definitely important for these guys to time the jump, but also to go as slow as possible to maximize the airtime. All right, so that's our first little teaser. The guys are warmed up. That was practice for them. And we're going to have a main event, so to say, for the freestyle guys later in the show. And from what I know of all three of these riders, I guarantee we're going to see some big upside down combo tricks. Hedford on the two-stroke, able to throw down some huge tricks. LaRue and Tiffany also have a very, very vast repertoire. So we will see them later on tonight for some more freestyle action here from Tampa MX. This is the Kicker AMA Arenacross Championship. As we look at the lay of the land, that's the big rhythm section coming back towards us, but we can also see to the left there, you see the hole shot marker. The first turn comes right into the whip section, which can be treacherous, but the man who has avoided the treachery and put himself out front time and time again, he's our 2020 defending champ and currently undefeated in our 2021 season, Kyle Peters, and Kristen Beat has caught up with him.
You know, we said it yesterday, Kevin. Kyle Peters is just absolutely one of the most mentally strong riders that we've had in this series in a long time, and being able to just watch him start to string together these wins is really remarkable. And something you and I talked about earlier, that mental strength, where does that come from? Where does it stem from?
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to work on. It's a skill that, just like training, working out, anything like that. So it's been a long time in the making, I should say. Been working on it a lot with my trainer, Corey Worf, along with training. So everything seems to be really coming together and looking to have the best year I've ever had. You know, they say I'm getting older, but with age, I feel like I'm getting better.
We're having fun out here. We're kind of waiting, burning some time. So tell me about the gear. I know that I nicknamed it Bubblicious, but I mean, what's going on right here? You like it?
Yeah, I like it. The Parts Limited guys and Moose came up with, they want to do like a retro theme weekend and send us this gear. And no, I'm pumped on it. I think you can definitely spot us out there on the track. So it's cool, something different, and having fun. Well,
Kyle, best of luck. We're going to get out there because we're about ready to do a pre-race report as well. But we'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Thank you.
Kyle Peters repping the new throwback Moose gear. I have to say, I personally like it, that's for sure. And I tell you what, when he talks about mental toughness, he's talking about taking his thoughts captive, of being serious and choosing what he's going to think about, to do positive reinforcement, to encourage yourself. And if you have mistakes, let it go. Every sport has a mental aspect for sure, but in motocross, I think the mental side is as important as the physical side. So we see the Open Pro Heat Race number 1 lining up, and we'll get to racing right after this.
2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
Serious riders know when it comes to their helmet, settling for less is never an option. Introducing the new Reflex helmet from Thor. The embodiment of style, technology, and protection. Never settle.
We come from all walks of life. We don't need a reason to ride, or even a destination. It's not what or where we ride that defines us, because no matter where we're headed, it's what happens along the way that makes us who we are. We may not know where the ride will take us, but one thing's for sure. With the Law Tigers, you never ride alone. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, America's motorcycle lawyers.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cap dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day.
Ring Power has the equipment you need when you need it, daily, weekly, or monthly. To rent, visit caprentalstore.com.
The 250 Pro Heat races are in the books. The Open Pro Heats are on the starting line as we get back to our qualifying action here in Tampa, Florida. This is round 8 of the Kicker AMA Arenacross Championship. We're going to send it down to Kristen Beat with our pre-race report.
Kevin, just a reminder, we are getting back to racing after taking nearly 5 weeks off. Now, 5 weeks is a long time. It's a month. It's more than a month. When we look at the series and we look at the riders in this series, that's enough time to go one of two directions. If you're a rider who really puts in the work and does your homework, you're able to build. You're able to kind of build on that strength. You're able to keep the momentum flowing in the right direction and maybe even correct some deficiencies that you had entering the season. Work on your bike a little bit. For other riders, it could go in the opposite direction. But one rider who is definitely benefiting from the time away, Isaac Teasdale. He's coming back stronger and ready to rally. Since January, he's been nursing a right shoulder injury. The time off coupled with therapy has allowed that injury time to heal. Now he can focus more on racing, less on managing that shoulder, and that's what we have seen today. That's what we saw yesterday. Isaac is still looking for his first podium of the season, but I think today could be the day for Isaac Teasdale. He's definitely looking racy out there.
Absolutely, Kristen. Isaac told me his shoulder is strong. He's feeling comfortable, and he's ready to go racing as our Open Pro Heat Race number 1 fires him up. We see down on the far inside the 95 of Josh Osby and his teammate, the 43 of Cullen Park. Then Isaac Teasdale there on the 79. He'll be the third gate from the inside. 52 is Adam Conway. Good to see him back up and joining us after his crash in the 250 Pro Heat Race. And a little bit farther outside, you see the other Kawasaki front fender. That's the 800 of Michael Lessie. Michael Lessie, as we always talk about, can never be counted out on the start. He is a starting master, and we'll see as the Open Pro Heat Race number 1 gets underway. Alessi actually not getting out of the gate clean. It's the Phoenix Racing Honda riders. Cullen Park got to the first turn first, but his teammate Josh Osby dove inside to take the lead. Osby getting the quad single. Cullen coming up the inside right there. So it's going to be the battle of the teammates. Then we have the two Babbitt's Online Monster Energy riders behind them. They're Monster Energy Kawasaki's. So, Josh Osby out front. He is starting to find his flow, to find his rhythm here at Arenacross in Tampa. Yesterday was his first Arenacross, today number 2, and he has definitely settled into the intensity and the pace. Colin Park in second, then the 79 of Teasdale, and Teasdale is on the attack, charging hard, trying to find a way around Park. Teasdale and Park, 2 of our taller riders out here, definitely helps them through that rhythm section. We'll see what happens here. So Park having a little bit of trouble to stay on the rear tire of his teammate and fully under pressure from Isaac Teasdale on the 79. Michael Lessie lurking in 4th place. Now remember, all of these guys will go to the main event assuming they don't find themselves on the ground. Finishing in the top 6 will be a transfer position, but this is very important to get to the front as there's only a couple really good gates to choose from, and this race will determine the starting pick for the Open Pro main event. Alessi now starting to find his rhythm, putting pressure on his teammate. Michael Lessie, a veteran, 33 years of age. He's been out here racing professionally. I believe his first professional race was before some of his competitors even rode a dirt bike, so hats off to Michael Lessie, still out here, the veteran, doing battle. So Lessie charging to the outside, carrying more momentum. He's going the long way around and makes it happen. That's the Michael Lessie we've known to expect. Very, very fast around the outside, carrying his momentum. And what he did is he used that small berm to pivot off of. Everybody else who's staying lower, it's a flat corner, harder to carry momentum. Alessi decides to just charge and blast the outside berm, driving through. We'll see if he can use that to catch back up to our leaders. So Osby out front, Colin Park in second. Phoenix Racing Honda has to be very happy with all 3 of their riders. And we have Alessi and Teasdale, the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki teammates, running 3rd and 4th. And as we look to the lap times, it is incredible how close all of these riders are. We're talking a 1/10 of a second difference based on who makes a mistake and who doesn't. But again, the start so very, very important, and Josh Osby showing that if you're going to win tonight, you probably need to get the whole shot. Josh Osby does it, winning the Open Pro Heat Race number 1. Colin Park in second. Alessi will take 3rd. Teasdale in 4th. That's Fierro on the 158 in a battle for the final transfer spot, and it looks like the 995 of Christopher Prebula will finish up in 6th, taking our final transfer spot. The rest of the field will end up in our Open Pro last chance qualifier coming up in a little bit. So Open Pro Heat Race number 1 is in the books. As we look now to the starting line, we see that's Aiden Island on the 6, still getting his gate prepped. A little bit of a story there. We'll talk about more coming up, but Zachary Butkowitz, one of our series regulars, finishing up 8th in the championship last year, having an injury last weekend, and now he's still at the races. You can see him down there with the back brace on. He's actually packing the gate and helping Aiden Nyland out. This Arenacross really brings riders and families together, and it's awesome to see him out here helping someone who is typically his competitor, and he's helping prep his gate. We also see Gray Tate. There's Zach Butkowitz right there. Bummer that he went down. Glad that he is going to be okay. I believe he's got 2 months in that breaks, some rehab, and he'll be back after it. Aiden Nyland, he's one of Dirt Bike Mike's riders. It's Team Dirt Bike Mike, Moto Nation of Memphis, getting support from Fly Racing, Pirelli, Recluse, Wiseco, Moto Seat, Scott Goggles. A lot of people supporting that team. Aiden riding the number 6, and he finished 6th in our championship last year. Next to him, the number 5 of Gray Tate. Tate had a very rough day yesterday, putting it together a little better today. But then we see the 92, that's Marquier. He's a Supercross regular coming out here to Arenacross with us, and Kristen's caught up with Marquier.
Yeah, just a heads up right now, we're burning a little bit of time because we had a rider actually hit the timing loop. So one rider is going to go out there, do a sight lap, make sure that everything is plugged back in and ready to connect. But I've got Chase Marquier with me here on the line. And Chase, yesterday we saw you up front at the beginning of some of those motos and some of those heats, and it looked as though you had this prowess, but there was a sense of attrition. You kind of worked your way backwards instead of forwards. How do you prevent that from happening today?
Yeah, I just need to start up front again, and instead of kind of racing behind me, just race forward, not focus on the guys coming in and kind of taking me out, and just, focus on racing forward.
Kind of hard to not focus on the guys taking you out, right?
Yeah, it's pretty tough, especially with tight racing. It's pretty hectic.
How would you describe the racing out here? I know you've been racing in the Supercross series, and now to move over to Arenacross. What have you noticed to be the biggest differences in between the two series?
It's just a lot tighter racing, so it's short, not many laps, so it's just kind of a all-out sprint for 6 laps, and you just got to go.
It's all about the intensity. Kevin?
Yeah, definitely. And Chase, a very, very talented rider, puts himself up front in Supercross often. And, yeah, it's a little bit different. In Supercross, 6 minutes plus a lap for the heat race. It's a sprint for sure, but you still settle into your rhythm, and you can feel people out. In Arenacross, 6 laps qualifier goes down pretty quick, and it is an all-out sprint. I'm glad to see Chase Marquier out here because I think this is good cross-training for any Supercross rider, especially if they're struggling with intensity, struggling with having their first lap as fast as the rest of them. Arenacross, a great training tool to get your intensity up for the Supercross riders, so great to see him out here. 30-second board's up. It's going to turn to 5. It'll go sideways. The gate will drop in 3 to 5 seconds after it goes sideways. So we're going to go racing here in our Open Pro heat race number 2. A good jump for the defending champ, but that is the 647 grabbing the hole shot. Came out of the far inside gate, but real quick, Kyle Bitterman on the 2 makes the block pass. We'll see what happens here. Up the inside, trying to come back, but Kyle Peters on the number 1. He went very wide into the corner, made a quick pivot, and squared up for the second place pass. So now it's a battle, one that we've seen many, many times. The number 2 of Kyle Bitterman under attack by the number 1 of Kyle Peters, and Peters shuts the door. I'm sure Bitterman would have liked to get in there and do an aggressive block pass, but Peters cut across through the whoops and closed the door. Didn't give Bitterman an inch. Kyle Peters so smart at predicting what his competitors are going to do, and now he's out front yet again. A good opportunity for the 2 of Bitterman to watch Kyle Peters around this track. Maybe he can gauge himself, because the difference of a quarter second on this racetrack, it's very, very small differences, but maybe he can see what those are. Kyle Peters, a master of transitioning from the brake to the throttle very quickly and very early in the corner. Peters also has excellent throttle control. Bitterman carrying the front wheel into the whoops. It looked fast at first, but then the rear end bouncing side to side. So we'll see now as this battle continues. We see Hubert. He's the 647 rider who got the hole shot. He's under pressure from the 92. That's Chase Marquier, who we talked with before this race. Hubert, the 647, currently in 3rd place, but under pressure. I have to say I'm very, very impressed with Hubert. He is riding strong. He got bumped around. Oh, and there he goes, Marquier to the inside, making the pass. But Hubert has been a pinball for part of this race with multiple riders getting aggressive, and he's not backing down, still right there. So a solid ride for Hubert. Now Marquier in 3rd place, the 92. He's an Oklahoma rider riding for House of Kawasaki out of Oklahoma, FXR gear. And he looks very comfortable. We'll see if he can put the hammer down and try to get to the back wheel of the number 2 of Kyle Bitterman. Bitterman on his gas, sponsored by Lasting Impressions and Ashley Mobile Electric. But right here, Kyle Peters, the Phoenix Racing Honda, the number 1 representing, he is our defending champ. The red plate representing that he is our current points leader. We should have something else letting everybody know that he is undefeated in our 2021 champion. They have not been easy, though. He has had some hard fought battles And as we get to tonight, I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Lessie, Josh Osby, Colin Park, the rest of the field trying to dethrone the champ. But white flag's out. It's our final lap. Peters cruising to another heat race win. He will win the Open Pro Heat Race number 2. So our pro heat races are in the books. Bitterman holding on to second. Marquier in third. Strong ride by Marquier, but he is going to have to get a better start come the main event later on. There we see Aiden Nyland getting a transfer spot. The 281 of Corey Karsten as well. And then Mason Wharton on the 767 will round out the top 6 going to the main event. Luke Dickey, Gray Tate, they will find themselves in the last chance qualifier. So Matthew Hubert on the 647, he had our whole shot, ended up getting banged around, going back a little. We're going right back to the starting line to go race.